Hi everybody, Al Bernstein here with another one of our quick hits videos. Yes, we've had a little bit of a hiatus, but now we're back. And we are back just in time for what should be a very exciting event in boxing on January 19th when Manny Pacquiao takes on Adrien Broner in a fight that I will be privileged to announce on SHOWTIME pay-per-view. And it'll be coming to you from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and it should be a very exciting matchup. Now, this fight has been months in the making as Pacquiao has been looking for potentially a path to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Adrien Broner is looking for a big win, a signature win, which he has not had many of lately, despite the fact that he's been in major fights and is clearly a boxer that many people tune in to see. He gets great ratings when he fights on Showtime and other platforms, and now he is in a pay-per-view situation with one of the kings of pay-per-view, Manny Pacquiao. This fight is intriguing on many levels, and for any intriguing fight, it creates questions, and this one has some interesting questions. One, about Pacquiao. Was his performance in his last fight against Lucas Matthysse, which was a very good one for the 40-year-old, was that due mostly to his skill set, as he was very active, very busy, knocked out Matthysse, or was it because Lucas Matthysse really showed up with a non-performance? It probably was a combination of the two. In any case, Pacquiao was able to show the hand speed and volume punching that we had seen from him in previous fights that some people thought at age 40 might have gone away. As for Adrien Broner, he comes into this fight with a lot of baggage. Now, he's with a new trainer, Kevin Cunningham, who trained him for his last fight, a controversial draw with Jesse Vargas. But for this fight, he has not one, not two, but three criminal legal cases that he is dealing with outside of the boxing ring, one of which he has to make a court appearance on. And the question is, are those situations going to be distracting for him? Is it going to be difficult for him to train and focus as well as he should? And let's be honest, we all know that the training part of big fights is difficult for Adrien Broner. Oftentimes, he doesn't appear to be as in tip-top shape as he needs to be to fight every round of every fight aggressively. Can he do that for this fight? So those are questions swirling around this match. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape and give ourselves a review of some of the numbers involved in this fight. If you look at this, I would direct your attention to one important area, two important areas: the height and reach advantage of Adrien Broner. It's not massive, but typically Adrien Broner, when he has height and reach advantages, wins fights. He is good when his opponent is not taller than him and doesn't have the reach advantage over him. The other number to look at, of course, is the age of Manny Pacquiao at 40, and Adrien Broner, of course, much younger at 29. Will this be the night when Manny Pacquiao gets old and in the ring? Training reports indicate that that is not the case. He's reunited with his trainer, Freddie Roach, and many believe that that Pacquiao is quite ready for this fight. So we'll find out when it happens. And toward that end, let's take a look at the keys to victory that I've put together for each man to see what they can do in this fight. Let's start with Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao needs to out-hustle Broner. We know that Adrien Broner doesn't throw many punches. Manny Pacquiao at his best is a volume puncher, and very few fighters have done that aspect better than Pacquiao. That's why he wins so many rounds in his fights. I think he should fire, punch in combination, then move. Doesn't want to be standing in the pocket against Broner where he might get hit with a counterpunch. No one uses angles better than Pacquiao when he's at his best, and that is what people are looking for to see if he can do that at this age. What I mean by don't get greedy is he wants a knockout in this fight. Manny Pacquiao is very intent on getting a knockout. He wants to make a statement. He thinks that would market the idea of him getting another mega fight, whether it's against Mayweather or, as he has stated, against the winner of Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence, or against Keith Thurman or others in the welterweight division. So he needs to, in my opinion, not be looking for that knockout, not be desperate for it, because he'll put himself in a position where he may get hit with something. Just punch, 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 move, win rounds. If the knockout presents itself, go for it. As for Adrien Broner, he needs to stay off the ropes. That is essential. If he gets on the ropes, he's in trouble. That's where Adrien Broner traditionally has been in problems with major fights against good opponents. Don't be a statue. Well, he tends to be one, and sometimes in fights he will stand there and he will simply not punch, and that's an issue for him because he gives rounds away, and he's got to counterpunch effectively. He needs to time Pacquiao so that when he's coming in, he can land a strong counterpunch, the kind he landed in the last round against Sean Porter, in which he put Porter down with a powerful left hook. Now, Porter got up and, of course, won that fight against Broner, but that's the kind of counterpunching that Broner is going to have to do effectively. And as we think about Adrien Broner for this fight, the bottom line is that the key element is he's got to be busier. That is the one key in there that is the most important. He gives rounds away, and if he does that against Manny Pacquiao, and if Pacquiao is anything like the Pacquiao that we've seen before, that is going to be a major problem for him. So as we head into this fight on January 19th, I am very certain that it will produce action, because I think Pacquiao is going to push the pace, and I think Broner will feel a sense of urgency to fight enough to make it interesting. And one thing we have to say, even though we often criticize Broner for not punching enough, he ends up being in exciting fights. He's a very accurate puncher, and so when there are those exchanges and those moments when fighters push him, it ends up being interesting and exciting. His fight with Jesse Vargas was a perfect example of that. So I will be ringside at the MGM Grand Garden for that match. I hope all of you will be watching on pay-per-view. And should you be coming to Las Vegas or live in Las Vegas, that fight weekend was going to kick off with a fun event that I'm going to be at the center of. I'll be co-hosting the Kenny Davidson Celebrity Cabaret at the Tuscany Hotel and Casino. This will be my 4th time co-hosting there. As many of you know, I also sing in Las Vegas, and I'm a vocalist and do shows in Las Vegas. And we chose the night before Broner Pacquiao to do this one because we knew a lot of the boxing fans were coming in, and it would be a fun event to kick off the weekend. So at the Tuscany Hotel and Casino in the Piazza Lounge, along with Kenny Davidson and his very, very talented band, I will be co-hosting. So I'll be doing about a dozen tunes, and we'll have great guest singers that come there. They do every week at Kenny's show. And the festivities on Friday night, the night before the Pacquiao-Broner fight, the festivities will kick off at about 9 p.m. So come on over to the Tuscany, and we'll have some fun with music. And on this show, I'm going to be picking out songs that I've done and on shows before pay-per-view matches before. I started doing this back in the 1980s and 90s at Caesar's Palace before some of the big fights like that I was involved with, like Ernst Hagler, Leonard Duran, Leonard Hagler, all those fights. I would often perform leading up to those fights. And so what I'm going to do for this show is go back and pick out some music that I did in those shows in the 80s and 90s and beyond, and revisit those moments and talk about some of those great boxing moments as we do music that has a connection to it. So that'll kick off the boxing weekend. And then, of course, on January 19th, it'll be Pacquiao and Broner. So I hope that you will be joining me, if you can, if you're in Las Vegas on that Friday night. And I certainly hope you'll be watching Pacquiao-Broner on January 19th. We are back with our quick hits now. I promise no more long delays in between doing them. I want to thank our producer, Dan Parks, for his work on this particular video, as he does on all of them. He's great. And we'll be back here very soon with another Quick Hits. Take care.